Welcome back to the channel, guys. We should be live. Hello, C. Paul, John, and JTB. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we have got the full coverage of the Australian Grand Prix qualifying today, and I cannot wait. So many things to talk about, and well, the first big thing is that there have been very significant track changes to the Australian Grand Prix circuit in Albert Park, and that's sped up the circuit by quite a lot. So we're going to see how that changes the lap times in qualifying. So in practice, they've been setting 1 minute 18s, which is a lot quicker than they were um, in 1 minute 18s, which was a lot quicker than what we had in Albert Park all the way back in 2019. We haven't raced here since 2019, in fact, because obviously in 2020 we had COVID, and then in 2021 it also got cancelled because of COVID. So um, yeah, rather unfortunate there, but we are back and we are racing this weekend, so very much look forward to that. Yeah, just woke up in time, Velocity, and totally in bed. Yeah, it's pretty early here as well, 6:30 a.m. And tomorrow's stream's actually going to start at half six, half five. So yeah, well, let's get into what we have to talk about. So, the track changes that have been made. In fact, I'll talk about the track changes once the map has loaded. But the other things that we need to talk about are. Let's see, one sec. Let me just turn that off. All right. So, we have got the McLarens who have been performing very badly um, in the past couple of weeks. Now they in FP3, Lando Norris was first and Daniel Ricciardo was sixth. So maybe McLaren have made a step forward. Andrea Seidel, their team principal, also said they have made a step forward, and they're going to be hopefully in the running a bit higher up the field. I don't know if they're going to be right up at the top, but they definitely have made a step forward. And I don't know how Lando Norris has in fact got first place in FP3. We'll just have to wait and see. Hello, Caroli Evans and Charles. I don't know how to say his second name, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah. All right. Finally, do I have to stay up late or wake up early? Feels like yeah. Well, some people, yeah. I mean, it's just how time zones work, really. Some people get screwed over and some people don't. So there we are. But it seems it's an F1 race, and usually F1's pretty exciting, especially on this circuit. So I am definitely looking forward to this, even if I do have to wake up early. Yeah, we're almost at 30,000 subscribers. We are, yeah, how many? 1,100 away. So if you haven't hit the like button or subscribe, be sure to do so. Um, so let's get into talking about the battle at the front. Looking at the qualifying simulation data between, well, which happened on Friday, the race simulations and the qualifying simulations, Red Bull and Ferrari were within 10 milliseconds of each other, 10 or 20 milliseconds of each other in both of them. So I expect a very close battle between Leclerc and Verstappen this weekend. Maybe we'll see Sainz actually. Um, maybe we'll see Sainz. What is it? Actually, get up into the battle as well. He's been slightly underperforming in the past couple of weeks. So if he can also get a bit higher up into the battle between Leclerc and Verstappen, that's going to swing the advantage in Ferrari's favour, which is exactly what Ferrari want, to be honest. Um, Hi, Ivan. Oh, Haydos, you can hear the cars from your house. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I must admit. Right. Yeah, finally you can watch it without losing any sleep. That's good. Um, well, I think the only other race in this like exact time is going to be the Japanese Grand Prix, and all of the other races are still at really awkward times. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see about how many people actually come on today, because I assume for the most of Europe, where most of my viewers come from, it's pretty early. So I don't know if they're going to wake up for qualifying. They might wake up for the race though. Um, well, El Plan. Um, Alpine are actually fastest in the middle sector of this track. Now, the middle sector of this track is basically just like one long straight, but nevertheless, Alpine were quickest going down the straight. So maybe they're running less downforce, or maybe that Alpine engine is just that much quicker than all of the other engines. Because you have to remember, this year we've had rule changes where we now have 10% ethanol in the fuel, which is a biofuel of sorts. So this 10% ethanol is really screwing over Mercedes because they really don't get that much performance. I mean, it's hindering their performance for Mercedes, whereas for Alpine and for Ferrari, they're still getting quite a bit of performance out of the car. So it's looking pretty good for the other guys, but Mercedes engines are really struggling. And I think that, well, the highest finishing Mercedes in practice sessions has been Lando Norris. So we'll see um, how that goes. No, qualifying hasn't started yet. Q1 will begin in 24 minutes, 23 minutes, and the map will also load in like 5-10 minutes or so. So looking forward to that. Um, yeah. All right. What else is there to talk about? So we've got Yuki Sonoda, who's actually making his debut on this track because, well, he hasn't raced here, of course, in 2020 or in 2021. So it's going to be his first race here, and he's done quite a lot of simulator practice. And France Tost has also said Yuki Tsunoda's been putting a lot of work in back at the factory to try and improve his performance, and well, hopefully be quite quick and be setting the pace and maybe be challenging Gasly. He did finish ahead of Gasly in FP3, but of course this is practice and not qualifying, so we'll have to wait and see what actually happens in quali. All right, so good evening. Oh, hello, Mustavo. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, yeah, evening for everyone around the globe. Well, the times are pretty odd. This is the earliest I've woke up for an F1 race, at least in recent times. I woke up for 3 a.m. To watch the Japanese Grand Prix. I think it was in 2020, maybe, or 2019. Yeah, 2019, I think. Um, Pretty good race. Because I remember Vettel was on pole, and they had qualifying in the race on the same day because there was a I don't know, what was it, a typhoon or something? It was a typhoon on Saturday, so they cancelled the qualifying and they did it on Sunday, which was pretty interesting to say the least. But yeah, but we should probably get back to talking about what's going to happen here in Australia. So we've got 22 minutes till qualifying begins, and we have got, well, in FP2 we had Leclerc and then Verstappen and then Sainz. So that was the usual kind of FP2 situation that we have. But then FP3, it was the McLarens that were just absolutely outstanding, and then the Aston Martins were just so off the pace. I mean, Vettel had a crash, and so did Lance Stroll. Both Aston Martins crashing in FP3, which was really really bad for them, because the mechanics have to go fix the car all the way and make sure it all works before qualifying, and then also the drivers don't get that much practice. Vettel had engine issues, so he really hasn't had that much practice around this circuit or in an F1 car because he hasn't been driving for the past two races because he tested positive. Very so it's going to be a very uphill battle for Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, and we'll see how they can perform. But I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch even for them to get out of Q1, really. So we'll just have to wait and see. What do I think about the Alpines? Well, let's see. Fernando Alonso is in fourth place, and Esteban Ocon is in 13th place. Well, the Alpines are quickest in Sector 2, as I said before, so I have a feeling that Alpine can probably be top of the midfield, but I don't think they're going to get much higher than that. Um, they could probably be challenging maybe the Mercedes or the Alfa Romeos or the Hasses. I actually don't know what pace the Haas team have because they're relatively slow here. Like they're 14th and 17th, but maybe that's just them driving a bit slow for FP3, and then they're gonna turn it up in qualifying. So I'll just have to wait and see how it is. Have you re-described the new corners or around the video? Yeah. So I haven't talked about the new map yet because, well, the new track yet, because the map hasn't loaded. Once the map's loaded, it'll be a bit easier to explain. but yeah, there have been pretty significant track changes, and also in the video that I said released, there were 4 DRS zones, but the FIA have removed the DRS zone because of um, because of safety concerns, because they weren't because basically what it is they're turning left while also under DRS, which isn't exactly the most safe thing. So they've removed that DRS zone. Oh, Cronus 3000, thank you for the donation. Really do appreciate it. Here's to a good season. Thanks. Yeah, really do appreciate it. Yeah. Wow, I don't know what to say. I hope Daniel Ricciardo goes well. Yeah, I mean he's in 6th place. The highest McLaren have been all season round, so we'll see what they can do. But seriously, thank you for the donation. Really does help the channel and mean a lot. So yeah, I just said so. Yeah, let's go. Gunter said Mick was having problems with the rear suspension, and Magnussen was really sick yesterday. Okay, well that explains their lack of pace. Hopefully Kevin Magnussen can, well, get better soon, and then we'll see probably some proper performance between Schumacher and Magnussen, and maybe get through into Q3 and probably get through into Q2. We'll have to just wait and see. All right. Yeah, so the DRS zones have been switched from 4 DRS zones just to 3. So there's not going to be that much crazy overtaking, but nevertheless, 3 DRS zones. We know how that goes. We saw it 2 weeks ago in Saudi Arabia. So we'll just have to what? What was I going to say? I have completely forgot what I was going to say. Okay. Okay, all right. You think Lando will be in the top 5? Well, Norris is P1 in FP3, but we don't know how much that transfers over to the actual qualifying session, of course, because we saw it in testing. McLaren, they just turned their engine up early compared to everyone else, and then they got a lot more. Well, they were a lot higher up in the pecking order than they actually were. So everyone thought McLaren were going to be pretty quick, but then it turns out that they were relatively slow because of the simple fact that they were just they weren't sandbagging, whereas everyone else was sandbagging. So we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out for McLaren. It will be Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull through and actually get out of Q1, because it's been a bit of a struggle for them in the past couple of weeks. And yeah, even if McLaren are as quick as they seem now, if they're challenging the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, then Daniel Ricciardo could be on for a podium or winning this race, which would be crazy because Ricciardo hasn't got a podium at his home race. So well, yeah, it'll be great to see that, and we'll probably be seeing multiple shoeies if he did get a podium. So yeah, there we go. Did you upgrade your laptop? Yes, I have got an upgraded laptop, so that means I can stream without it being like the slowest thing in the world, which is great. Yeah. All right, we're gonna see if I can get this map to load. Nope, does not seem like it. But the map will probably load in a couple of minutes or so. So all right, McLaren are fast with no fuel. Yeah, that's probably what we're expecting. McLaren, they might have just done a bit of a low fuel run to get a bit of the fans hyped up, and then there'll just be disappointment all over again, which we really don't want. So hopefully the McLarens can be pretty quick. Um, that's what we hope for, but we'll have to just wait and see how that turns out. Yeah, all right. So qualifying is going to start in 15 minutes time, and yeah, if you guys haven't hit the like button or subscribe, be sure to do so. We're trying to hit 30k by the end of this stream. Don't know if it's actually going to happen because I don't know how many people are going to wake up to watch F1, but nevertheless, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Max was really struggling with his Red Bull. Well, you've deleted the message, so maybe not. Yeah, Kies is probably going to be watching this race, so well, watching the what's it called? Watching the actual race in person, so that would be great. Yeah, 4 DRS zones. There were 4 DRS zones. We're now down to 3 DRS zones because of the fact that there were safety concerns under if the DRS zones were actually going to be safe, having 4 DRS zones, because basically the 4th DRS zone that they added in was basically on a curved part of the track, so they weren't sure if it was going to be safe to be also turning and also have DRS activated. So that is why they have, well, that's why they've like disabled DRS in that final sector. So, all right, so let's see if this map is going to load now. There we go. All right, so let's just put that there and zoom out a bit. There we go. All right. So that's the map. All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's actually changed. So turn number 1 and turn number 1, there has been 2.5 meters of the inside apex of the track that has been removed. So as I can remember before, the turn 1 was basically a 4th gear corner. So the drivers would shift down to 4th gear after a long straight, and they would and then they would go through the corner. But now the drivers are going through in 5th gear, because that tiny little bit that they've cut out of the track is actually making the track quicker. So that's good, isn't it? Obviously, we're having faster cars, so better racing as it usually goes. So that's good for that's good for racing, of course. And then at turn number 3, we have another DRS zone going down to turn number 3. And what have they done at turn number 3 is widen the track by 4 meters. So that means there's probably 3 cars can probably go side by side into turn number 3. That's how wide it is now. But we'll most likely be seeing a lot of overtaking at turn number 3, because it is a bit of a what's it called? It's a bit of a hairpin corner. So, and you've got DRS going up into that corner as well. So overtaking will probably be made at turn number 3, and then they'll be kind of locked in for the rest of the lap until the next DRS zone. So turn number 3 will be a big overtaking opportunity for sure. And then we will have what do we have after that? We have turn number 6. So what they've done to turn number 6 is that they've basically removed it at this point. So it's just the cars accelerate up to 7th gear in after turn number 5. They're up into 7th gear, and usually for turn number 6 you'd have to shift down into 3rd gear, maybe 4th gear, but they have cut out such a big section of track. They basically cut the corner effectively, and now, since they've cut the corner, the drivers will go through that turn number 6 in 6th gear, in fact. So it will be a very fast corner, and then the next part of the track, they've removed turn number 9 and 10, so it's just one long straight flowing section. And then you have obviously the high speed chicane, which is as high speed as ever. In fact, the entry speed is even higher this time round, because of the fact that they've removed turn number 9 and 10, so that means you'll be incoming with a higher speed. So that just makes it all the more quicker. And that's in fact where Vettel had a crash. He lost the rear when turning into the second part of the chicane, and then went off into the barrier. So it's somewhere to be careful, basically, because the curbs are pretty slippery. So we'll see how all the other drivers go through in qualifying. Then we have turn number 11, where Lance Stroll had a crash. So the following corner after Vettel's crash, Lance Stroll had a crash. At this corner, what they did is they made the whole track a lot sharper. So they made the corner sharper, basically, and made the track wider, which meant that it would be a lot easier to overtake, and the braking zone gets bigger. So very good job there from the actual from the actual Australian Grand Prix organisers, that they've decided to make the track better for racing. I mean, if if Lando gets pole, that would be absolutely insane. But I have my doubts about that because, well, how do you say it? McLaren haven't had the best track record in the past couple of weeks, and yeah, Lando getting pole is, I think, going to be a bit of a stretch, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see. There's 10 minutes left till qualifying begins. Whoops, I've zoomed in way too much. Right, so there we go. And yeah, would be nice if Ricardo got to podium. Yeah, I would really love to see Ricardo get a podium at his home race. That would be absolutely wonderful. But I don't know how likely that is to happen. Just simply because of the fact that McLaren haven't been performing well, and neither of any of the Mercedes powered cars, which is well, the McLaren is also a Mercedes powered car, which isn't great for them. So there we go. Yeah, we will probably see a double shoey if Ricardo did win the race, or get a podium, of course. But yeah, time will tell what's going to happen. We're 9 minutes away from qualifying starting. We've got 200 people watching. If you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Ricardo's first race in Australia for McLaren. Yep, that's right. Because in 2019 he was racing for Renault, where he broke his front wing on lap number 1, and that basically sent his entire what's it called? Well, put his race on a downward trajectory. So, and then 2020 and 2021, the races have been cancelled. So yeah, first Australian Grand Prix for Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren car. Apparently, there are some clouds over Melbourne, but no chance of rain. Well, I don't think it's going to rain. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. But if it does stop raining, that would be. I think the last time we had a wet qualifying in Australia was all the way back in like 2011, maybe, or 2010, where Vettel got pole by like a second. But I don't think Vettel's going to get pole by a second unless an absolute miracle happens, because he's down in 20th place and had a crash in FP3. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, we have got 7 minutes till qualifying begins. Let's see. Let's talk about Valtteri Bottas. He has not been, well, no, he's been doing very well, in fact. But I don't know how much pace that Alfa Romeo can actually sustain. As in, they've obviously started off the season very, very well, but I don't know if they can continue improving the car at the same rate of all of the other teams. Obviously, because they finished quite low down in the constructors last year, they're going to have more wind tunnel testing time. So that's obviously going to help them in their development of their car. But I don't know if they have the resources or just like the skills in their team to keep developing a car at the pace that Mercedes do or Alpine do, because Alpine's a complete own like constructor. They've invested a lot of money into Formula One. So Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou are in a good car for now, but I don't know how long that is going to last. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what else I could say. But yeah, very bad session for Aston Martin, because yeah, 2 crashes for Aston Martin. The mechanics are probably working, well, they've been working non-stop to try and get both of these cars fixed and ready for quali. And Stroll and Vettel have been, well, they'll be thinking through how to maximize the car's performance in this pretty rough patch for Aston Martin. Haas over Alfa Romeo this season. Well, I think ooh, that's actually an interesting question. Who's going to finish ahead, Haas or Alfa Romeo? Well, the thing is, actually, I'm going to give you guys a poll. You guys can vote who is going to finish higher. Who is going to finish Haas or Alfa Romeo? See, the Haas car is very tightly linked to Ferrari, as in they they've got a lot of parts from the Ferrari, like the Ferrari team. So if Ferrari do well, Haas are going to do well. So I think Haas are going to finish higher up than Alfa Romeo because of the fact that they've got Kevin Magnussen. Well, actually, Alfa Romeo have got Valtteri Bottas, so they've both got pretty experienced drivers. But I'd say Haas is going to finish out on top mainly because of the fact I think their car's slightly faster than the Alfa Romeos. Um, and their car is also closely linked to Ferrari, which is going to help them a lot in terms of development because Ferrari, since they are at the top, they're going to be developing at maximum speed to try and maximize all the points that they can get while they have the fastest car. So Haas are also going to get those parts that Ferrari design to try and make them go faster. So that's why I have a feeling that Haas are going to finish on top. Well, actually, this is interesting. So what they've done is that the engines have been frozen now. So that means there is no more development other than reliability development that you can make to the engines all the way up until 2026. So there is no engine development whatsoever except reliability all the way up until 2026, which is, well, it's put Mercedes on the back foot because of the simple fact that all of the Mercedes powered cars are really struggling because of this new fuel that they're using in Formula One. So yeah, Mick's got to get better too. Yeah, I mean Mick was actually he was pretty close to beating Magnussen in Saudi Arabia, yeah, but of course he did have that crash. So it's a bit of a just get a bit more consistent, reduce the mistakes, and that's basically what all of the new drivers have to do. They have to get consistent, reduce their mistakes, and then they'll be on their merry way to getting pretty quick. Oh, hello, Kies. McLaren did well in FE3. The car sounds pretty nice. Yeah, I mean they're up in first place, so it seems pretty good. I assume you're going to be watching the race from a rooftop, which is very cool indeed. Are Aston Martin ready yet? Actually, I'll just double check that, but I'm pretty sure they will be, because they've had quite a bit of time to fix those cars. But I'll just double check for you guys. With qualifying starting in 2 minutes time now. And yeah, let's see. The risk of rain says 20%, but Kies is actually in Melbourne right now. So Kies, if you could give us a news report on the weather, that would be lovely. Okay, so the Aston Martin update, the screens are down on Vettel's side of the garage. So that means that Vettel's car has been fixed. We don't know about Lance Stroll's car, though. His car is still behind the screens, so we'll just have to wait and see what can happen there. Also, another thing, Lewis Hamilton has actually got 6 consecutive poles here in Australia. I don't think he's going to keep that record. He's actually got poles every single year of the Turbo Hybrid era that we've raced here. So I think Hamilton's going to lose his streak of who's going to of getting pole every single time in Australia, but maybe we'll see someone else start a new sort of record. All right, so the tires that we're going to use in Q1, Q2, and Q3. Well, the tires that we're going to use from Pirelli are in fact the C2, C3, and C5. This is rather odd because of the usual fact that we usually have C2, C3, and C4, and they're all consecutive numbers. But this time we have the C5s instead of the C4s. So I think what we're going to have is, well, all of the drivers will be on the soft tires for qualifying, but that makes the race strategy a lot more interesting than, well, a lot more interesting than all of the past weeks. So it'll be interesting to see. No rain as of now. It's cloudy, but rain is unlikely given how uncomfortably warm it is. All right, so there's not going to be rain. We've got our eyes in Melbourne from Kies, who's told us there's no rain happening. So pretty happy about that we'll get a dry qualifying session. We'll wait and see though. Right, so 22 seconds now till qualifying is underway, and we have a green light out the pit lane. Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon have come to the end of the pit lane, are just waiting for the green light now. So we will be going qualifying in a matter of seconds. All right, so QUALI is live, and we have got Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon out on track. They will pop up on the map shortly. It's going to be sunny, 30 degrees tomorrow, and it's interesting considering it's 3 in the afternoon. Yeah, oh, this is another thing, in fact. We haven't had a night race so we haven't had a day race for the past 5 races. So last year we had Qatar, then Saudi Arabia, then Abu Dhabi. All 3 of them were night races. And then now we have got then we had Bahrain, and then we had Saudi Arabia, which was both of those were also night races as well. So this is actually the first day race we've had in 5 races, which is rather odd to say considering Formula One is mainly day races. But nevertheless, cars are now out on track. We have Schumacher, Albon, Magnussen, and then we have Sonoda, Gasly, Leclerc, Sainz, and Guan Yu Zhou all coming out on track to set their initial banker laps for Q1. All right. Alex Albon is also holding a 3-place grid drop from last weekend round, where he had a collision with Stroll. So Alex Albon, wherever he qualifies, he'll be 3 places lower than that in the end. Well, for the starting grid of the race tomorrow. Sonoda should be off racing rally cars. Well, Sonoda's been putting a lot of time in the simulator to try and get adapted to this new track and this new car. So we'll wait and see how he can do. He's just come out. He's out on track now, coming through turn number 11. And yeah, he will be setting his flying lap. All right, so we've got Kevin Magnussen on a flying lap now. He's going through into turn number 3. DRS has been activated. He's braking at turn number 3 around about the 100-meter mark, and straight into turn number 4, 5. They just come one after another, and then he's going into the newly resurfaced turn number 6, where it's just a little little dab of the brakes, and then flick the car into the corner, and then he's just got a big long straight section coming up. This is where the DRS zone previously was, but they have removed the DRS zone because of safety concerns. Now he's going through into turn number 9 and 10, which is the high-speed chicane, which is where Seb Vettel, in fact, crashed in FP3. So we'll see how he can perform there. But his lap times aren't looking that fast. Everyone else is putting in relatively quick lap times. Lando Norris gets out of the way for Kevin Magnussen. And then Magnussen now coming up into the penultimate corner of the track. Just another hairpin and the final corner left to go for Kevin Magnussen, and he will be setting the first driver to cross the line. The lap times in practice were around about the 1 minute 18 mark. Kevin Magnussen crosses the line with a 1 minute 21. Looks like he made a bit of a mistake, I think, in the first sector as far as I can tell. Oh no, Alex Albon in 1 minute 21 as well. Schumacher with a 1 minute 21.1. So Schumacher outqualifying Magnussen in the first bit, on the first lap of Q1. Very interesting to see there. Leclerc's was the opening fastest lap. Yeah, Leclerc was in the 1 minute 18s as far as I could tell. Stroll has been. I don't know if Stroll's car has been fixed yet because he isn't out on track, because work is still going on. On Vettel's car, they're still also doing work on Vettel's car. So we'll see if they can fix it. They've now got 14 minutes left. We have still a green flag out on track and a lot of drivers. So Leclerc with a 1 minute 19. So you can just see the very big pace difference between the top teams and then the midfield. Like we said that Haas and Alfa Romeo were pretty quick, but Leclerc's in the 1 minute 19s and Mick Schumacher's in the 1 minute 21s. So it's a pretty big gap between the midfield and the top. So we'll see how that plays out. Lando Norris, quickest first sector. So let's follow Lando Norris around a lap. In fact, he's just coming out the final corner now. But he has been... Lando Norris is up into second place, only 4/10 behind Charles Leclerc. Now that's what we were hoping for. McLaren all the way up in second place, only 4/10 behind the Ferraris, which is absolutely amazing for them. I mean, McLaren really haven't been that great all season round, but here they are with a bit of upgrades and a step forward in terms of performance, and Lando Norris is only 4 tenths behind Leclerc, albeit Leclerc was probably on a bit of a slow lap, not pushing to 100%, but Lando Norris up into second place. We'll see what Daniel Ricciardo can do. He'll be starting his flying lap in approximately 10-20 seconds, but now we've got Carlos Sainz coming through the middle sector, coming through the final sector now, just avoiding Pierre Gasly in terms of traffic, and we'll see what his lap time does. Sergio Perez sets the quickest middle sector, and Sainz has that taken away from him, but Sainz is still holding the fastest first sector, and we'll see where that puts him in terms of the timing sheets. All right, so Sainz coming out the final corner now, crosses the line and goes 1 minute 19.1. So he is quicker than Charles Leclerc, which is not been what we've been used to for the past couple of weeks. So a very nice job there from Carlos Sainz. We have Max Verstappen into third place as well, and we have Sergio Perez going into second. Wow, this is interesting. We had Perez outqualify Verstappen last weekend round, and we have Perez once again quicker than Verstappen in qualifying by 1/10 of a second. Very, very strange. It looks like Sergio Perez got a bit of a toe going down the straights. Looking at the top speeds, in fact, so we had the Red Bulls at 322 kilometers an hour, and we had the Ferraris at 310. So there's a 10 kilometer per hour difference between the Red Bulls, which are on a low downforce setup, and the Ferraris that are on a high downforce setup. So we'll wait and see if that carries out into the race. And if it does, then I have a feeling that the Red Bulls are going to have a lot easier time overtaking compared to the Ferraris. All right. Daniel Ricciardo, though, into sixth place. So it looks like this McLaren pace is real. Fifth and sixth place for the McLarens. They are back up at the top. They're ahead of the Mercedes. Well, Mercedes haven't set a lap yet, but we'll wait and see what happens for the rest of the qualifying. So we've got 11 minutes left of Q1. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, please be sure to do so. And if you guys haven't subscribed as well, that would very much be appreciated. Trying to hit 30k by the end of this stream. So that would be your subscription would be very much appreciated. All right, so the two Mercedes and the two what's it called, Aston Martins haven't come out for a lap yet. Haven't set a lap yet. Hamilton and Russell have both just come out the pit lane, so they will be setting their laps very shortly. Leclerc has gone for a second flying lap on those soft set of tyres, and he's put in a 1 minute 18.8, so beats his previous record of the fastest lap, and goes 3 tenths quicker than his teammates. So a very good job there from Charles Leclerc to put himself up into first place. So now we've got Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren as our top 6. We'll see if that continues all the way into Q3. Will Aston Martin qualify or not? Well, it depends on if the Aston Martin mechanics can fix Vettel's and Stroll's car in time. So if they can fix it, then they're coming out, and if they can't, then obviously they can't qualify. And I have no idea if they're going to fix it, because I don't have any inside information just yet. Fernando Alonso, quickest in the middle sector. This is what I've been talking about. Alpines are an absolute monster down the straights. And then the second sector is basically just one long straight. So Fernando Alonso going rather quickly, and he is up into sixth place. Valtteri Bottas also goes into fifth. So the McLarens have been displaced from fifth and sixth to seventh and eighth. We'll wait and see if they've got any more to reply. And yes, they do. Lando Norris with the fastest first sector. So Lando Norris is not giving up just yet. Also, another thing is track evolution. So because this is a street circuit, it's not regularly used for racing. The track is going to improve massively over the course of qualifying. So whoever goes out the latest, like whoever sets their lap at the latest possible time, will have like the best possible track conditions. We've got some team radio from Daniel Ricciardo, so let's play this.
Okay, that's P6. We're now on a double cool. Ocon will open a lap. He's 12 seconds behind.
All right, so they're doing double cool laps. So as Kiers was saying, it's rather hot in Melbourne right now. So the temperatures that they are experiencing are, well, the temperature the tires are experiencing, their drivers are going for double cooldown laps to cool them down and recharge the battery so they can go for a second flying lap. And that's exactly what Lando Norris has done. He's put himself up into 4th place again after that second cooldown lap. So the drivers are going quicker on used sets of tyres, but that's because of track evolution, not because Pirelli have invented some crazy new tyre tech. Yeah, the track is so much faster without the chicane and the widened corners. And maybe that's going to be better for racing, but we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. All right, so there we go. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. And yeah, all your support is very much appreciated. It just boosts it in the YouTube algorithm, which is great. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll be streaming for the race tomorrow as well, so be sure to tune into that. All right, it's especially warmer close to the track, not gonna lie. Well, I think the warmness close to the track might just be caused by the cars driving around, because the tires are 100 degrees when the drivers are going on quali laps, and well, the air coming out all of the engines as well is going to be very, very hot. So maybe that's why it's feeling a lot hotter, because the cars are after the cars are out on track. But here we go now. Hamilton and George Russell both on qualifying laps. Both seem pretty close on pace. And Fernando Alonso, once again, another fastest middle sector. He puts himself back up into 4th position. Hamilton and Russell now coming out of the final 2 corners. We'll see what their lap times are, but it does not look too good for the Mercedes. All right, Max Verstappen has improved his first sector time, and he's set on another flying lap. Once again on a used set of tyres. We'll see if he can get ahead of Leclerc. The gap between those two drivers is 44 milliseconds. Russell and Hamilton both do set their lap times, and Russell outqualifies Hamilton by 3/10 of a second, and is in 10th place, and Hamilton is in 11th. So it looks like the Mercedes have a lot of time to gain if they're going to be anywhere near the top, but this is very, very good indeed. Oh, looks to be a very big traffic jam, in fact, going through the top left part of the track. All of the drivers are just queued up. I don't know exactly why, but yeah, that's not going to be good for their tyres. Verstappen now sets the fastest lap. He goes 3/10 quicker than Leclerc. The times are tumbling, and this is because of track evolution. We are on a street circuit, so the quicker the cars drive around, the quicker the track is going to get. So that is why the lap times are going so much quicker. All right, so we got Verstappen in first, Perez in second, and then we have Leclerc and Sainz in third and fourth. This is the exact opposite of what it was about 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago, we had Leclerc and Sainz in first and second, and Verstappen and Perez in third and fourth. And now it's just flipped around. So it really does show you how big track evolution is, and like how how critical it is to try and use it to its absolute maximum. Jake the Snake, thank you for subscribing. All right, so yeah, track evolution, very important. So once we do get into Q3, the drivers that set their lap time right at the end of Q3 are going to have a faster track and more grip on the track available to them to set a fast lap time. So we'll wait and see how that goes for them. All right. So now let's see the drivers out. Oh, we've got quite a lot of drivers out on track, but Leclerc, Sainz, Alonso, Bottas, Norris, Ocon, and Ricciardo all in the pits. They will be looking through the telemetry to try and find a place where they can improve over their teammates or over some of the drivers and set a faster lap time. Really, Stroll is out on track, so they have fixed Stroll's car, and then Vettel is still in the pit lane, so we may not see Vettel qualify for this session. There are 3 minutes left of the session, so he's going to have to get out of the pit lane in around about a minute or so, otherwise he will be who will be qualifying in 20th position. All right. So let's see. Will we see a lap time in 1 minute 17 something? I think we could. Yeah, because the track evolution is so big around the circuit right now. I think by the time we get to Q3, we're going to see some lap times all the way down in the 1 minute 17s. What happened to Stroll's car? Stroll had a crash in FP3. He binned it into the wall, but I think the only thing that was damaged was his front left suspension. So they fixed that rather quickly, did the Aston Martin mechanics, and he is out on track. Seb Vettel, though, had a bigger crash than Stroll. His front and right suspension and the entire front wing was all completely broken at turn number 11. He lost the rear when turning into the second part of the chicane, and then went straight into the barriers, which was rather unfortunate for him. All right. Oh, okay. I said we will see. All right. Yeah, I didn't read your message, so sorry about that. Latifi hasn't crashed yet. I'm shocked. Yeah, what a surprise. Well, he is down in 18th place, so he's not doing rather well considering the fact that he's the slowest driver that has actually set a proper lap time. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left of qualifying. All the drivers now will be just approaching the finish line to set their final laps. We have a red flag, in fact. Looks like somebody's crashed. Wait, has it Latifi? I don't know. But we did just say Latifi hasn't crashed. So hopefully it's not Latifi. Otherwise, we've just jinxed it. But let's find out who has stopped on track. It looks to be one of the Haas cars. It's either Kevin Magnussen, I think. I'm not sure exactly why we have a red flag. I'll find out. Someone's binned it. Yeah. Carlos Sainz has said there's weird bouncing. This is not related to the red flag, by the way, but Carlos Sainz has got has a lot of weird bouncing in his car. Oh, is it Latifi? I'm not sure if it's Latifi, but is Latifi even out on track? No, Latifi's in the pit lane. So, I mean, if he's crashed in the pit lane, I don't think that's going to happen. Is Vettel going to set a time? Well, this is helping Aston Martin. There's more of a red flag. So, there is a chance that they could fix the car by the time the red flag has like stopped. But, yeah. We might see Vettel depending on if Aston Martin can fix the car. We have a red flag, though, out on track, and the F1 news is really not helping and not telling me why we have a red flag. It's Stroll. Stroll has crashed. Okay. Well, Stroll's car had just been fixed. So if Stroll's just binned the car as soon as they fixed it, that is a pretty big mistake. Oh, it was Latifi. It was Latifi who's crashed, yeah. Wait, no. I can't tell if this is a meme or not. Oh, no, it is Latifi. Okay, so it's Latifi. I'm going to have to scroll up in chat and see who called it, in fact. Because Latifi definitely did crash. All right, let's see. Who called it? Where is the message? I can't find it in chat now. Oh yeah, AJ Bunk. Wow, Latifi hasn't crashed yet. I'm shocked at who said that 3 minutes ago before Latifi crashed. So AJ Bunk, you have just called it. Latifi and Stroll crashed. Okay, so both of them have crashed. But yeah, AJ Bunk, if you're still in the chat, you have just called. You've just called Latifi crashing, and Stroll has just come out the pit lane. His mechanics have just gone and fixed the car they've been fixing the car for about an hour straight, and then Stroll's car is just broken. So yeah, Stroll, I don't know what you're doing, but it's a bit of a joke, really. Your mechanics have worked for about an hour straight to try and fix the car. And there we go. So, oh no, the red flags are out. The Williams of Latifi has looked like he's had contact with Lance Stroll at turn number 6. Interesting. Yeah, AJ Bunk. Well, I think what you should do is you should become the predictor. You should call stuff for our stream now. So yeah, there's been a crash at turn number 6. It looks like someone was on the racing line, and then okay, so the mistakes show that there was a bigger misunderstanding. Latifi went to the side of the track to let Lance Stroll by, but the thing was Lance Stroll wasn't on a hot lap, so there was no point to let Lance Stroll by. And then Latifi went back past, and it was all a bit of a mess. And yeah, there's carbon fiber everywhere. We've got team radios from both Latifi and Lance Stroll, so let's see what they have to say. All right.
I don't understand what he was doing.
Are you okay?
He wasn't looking in his mirrors.
Are you okay?
Car's destroyed.
All right, this is Lance Stroll's radio.
Latifi, man, what the is he just doing? He just hit me, man.
Right, so yeah, both Canadians crashing into each other, and neither of them being rather polite about this incident. Both of the cars are destroyed from that crash, so we have got a red flag for quite a while till they clear all of the debris up. Yeah, Magnussen will only have 2 minutes to set a new lap, and so will hopefully if Vettel could fix his car, then we'll see him maybe come out on track. But yeah, but 2 Canadians not having a great time out in Australia. So yeah, there's quite a bit of debris, a lot of carbon fiber everywhere. Both of the drivers have basically had their cars destroyed. Latifi, I think, has his whole front wing completely gone, and Stroll has parts of his rear suspension down the drain. So it's not looking good there. Vittorio Martin Zuzi, I don't know how to say that. I messed that up completely, but thank you for the subscription. Right. F1 racing and the new ice hockey for the Canadians, yeah. Well, they might have just been racing on ice because it looks like neither of them. Well, Stroll really wasn't looking in his mirrors, and Latifi has just went into the back of him. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. I mean, Stroll apparently never looks in his mirrors. I saw like a highlights thing where there was like every single time Lance Stroll has like had a crash, and most of the time you can just see him, because usually when a driver looks in the mirrors, you can see their head tilt to the right or the left depending on which mirror they're looking at, because the mirrors are such in awkward positions in F1 cars. But you never see that with Lance Stroll, because apparently he just never looks in his mirrors. So yeah, it really does show who looks in the mirrors and who doesn't. Yeah, drivers should have learned that Stroll never looks in his mirrors. Exactly. Yeah, so Stroll and Latifi have had an incident crashing into each other. Both of the drivers, in fact, 18th and 19th place. So, yeah, they really aren't having a great day. Right at the bottom of the timesheets and crashing into each other. So, rather unfortunate. Yeah, this is the most impolite 2 Canadians have ever been to each other. So, there we go. All right. So I'll see how long it's going to take to clear up the debris, but as Chies has said, and as the replays are showing, there is a lot of debris out on track, so they're going to have to sweep all of that up, lift obviously both cars, because neither of them are in any drivable condition, onto the back of a truck, and then take that back to the garage, so they can set a what's it called, a lap, so they can, so the teams can repair the cars, of course. Yeah, I mean, it was really unfortunate for the Aston Martin mechanics, because they've just been working non-stop to try and fix Stroll's car after he had his crash in FP3, and here he is just having another crash again in Q1. So there we go. Yeah, Stroll more like slow. Well, Aston Martin season's out the window. Well, the thing is, Aston Martin said that they would get a new car. Like, they're going to build a completely new car for like halfway through the season. And hopefully they're going to be performing quickly with that. But I don't know how true those rumors are. We've seen a lot of rumors. We don't know how well, obviously, if they're true or not. Some of them have come true, but I'm not too certain about the fact that Aston Martin are building a completely new car. I don't think they've brought many upgrades to this car, so that could point towards the fact that they're building a completely new car. But it'll be interesting if they do. Like halfway through the season, they turn up to Silverstone and they're like the fastest car because they've just been developing a brand new car for the entire for the rest of the season. Vettel sides of the garage is lucky gaining free time rebuilding his car. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So we could see, well, the longer the red flag goes, the more likely Vettel is to set a lap. I don't know if he'll actually be able to set a competitive lap time, but if he can still set a lap, that'll be great. Because he hasn't actually been qualifying or in any of the races for the past couple of races. So yeah. Oh, also, guys, we are 50 subscribers away from hitting 29k. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please be sure to do so. And if you haven't hit the like button either, it really just helps the YouTube algorithm to know that you're liking the stream and you're enjoying it. So yeah, please be sure to do that while we are in this red flag. And there's also F1 merch in the description if you do want to check that out for your favorite driver. There's F1 merch for every driver, in fact, in the description. So just go ahead and click the link if you are interested in getting some stuff. Albon has been under the radar for the whole season so far. Yes, it is true. But he's been out qualifying Latifi, which is to be expected because Latifi is just a bit of a, well, just crashing every single race. So that's not great. But Alex Albon, I mean, the thing is, the Williams car really isn't that quick. So even if he was quick, he's not going to be making like headlines. Like all he could do is maybe he could become like George Russell at Williams. So he could basically just have a really good qualifying, and then Williams' race pace just drags him further and further down the field. But yeah, I don't think there's much like to look forward to for Alex Albon. He could score a couple of points here and there, but that Williams car looks rather horribly slow compared to everyone else, especially in terms of the race pace simulations and the quali simulations that they did on Friday. The Williams were the slowest team of the whole lot, so yeah, not looking great for them. Right, I'll see how long it's going to take, how many more minutes it's going to take to clear up this red flag, but everyone that's still here, I very much do appreciate all of the support. Alright, so let's see, how long is it going to take? Yeah, I have no idea how long it's going to take, but it's Crash Steefy got strolled. Yeah. It's not looking good for these drivers though. Let's see. Red flag, and the session's going to resume in 3 minutes time. All right, so session resuming in 3 minutes. And yeah, Evans, Hemi, and Justin B, thank you for the subscription. Do appreciate the support. All right, so well, he and Lance can go for a stroll with Lawrence. Yeah. Session restarting in 3 minutes time, and we will have drivers coming back out on track. Maybe we could see Seb Vettel if the mechanics have fixed the car, but if not, then it's going to be rather difficult for it's going to be rather difficult for any of these track. What was I going to say? Oh, it's going to be rather difficult for Vettel to qualify with a broken car. So yeah. Two cars crashed, yeah, Stroll and Latifi. They both crashed into each other, so there we go. Latifi should have his car painted in emergency yellow. Yeah, well, he has crashed all 3 races of the season, so not great. Mohit Srivanas, keep up the good work, man. We're really enjoying the commentary. Thank you. Really do appreciate the support. Yeah, it's going good. And we've got QUALI, so can't wait for that. Also, guys, be sure to tune in for the race tomorrow. I am commentating that, of course. The race will be starting an hour earlier than qualifying has started. So if your time zones are pretty bad for this race, then you're gonna have to wake up an even hour earlier, or you're gonna have to watch it an hour earlier, which will be probably better for the people that are staying up. But then the people who are getting up early, it will not be so great. And that's me who's included in the getting up early. So yeah. Cars queuing up at the pit exit. All right, yeah, 2 minutes left of the session, so that means the drivers are just going to do one slow lap around the track, and then they will be on their merry way to set their final fast laps of Q1. So you've just joined. Why have we got a red flag? We've got a red flag because Stroll and Latifi have crashed into each other with 2 minutes left of Q1. That is why we have a red flag out on track. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, Kies. Yeah, waking up with one weekend for odd hours. That's fair enough. Yeah, all of the Australian fans are really happy this weekend because the race is at an actual normal time, whereas everyone else is complaining. But the green flag is out, so we will be going racing now. All of the drivers coming out. The Williams cars do look amazing, but yeah, being pretty doesn't help your race pace. I mean, if you have racing stripes and if your car is red, that's like factually your car is faster if it's a red car. So I think that's why the Ferraris are so quick. They've just got red paint. I mean, if the Red Bulls painted their car red, they would be 10 miles per hour quicker going down the straights. So yeah, that's 100% fact, by the way. Making your car red makes it go faster. But look at this massive train of cars we've got. Well, I think Ricciardo's leading them out. So we've got Ricciardo, then Albon, then Ocon. And then I can't even read the rest of the names because they're all on top of each other. Yeah, Ricciardo, Albon, Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Sonoda, Gasly, Vettel. Oh, Vettel's out on track. That's great to see. So the drivers will probably start spreading out very, very soon now. Otherwise, it's going to be a very big traffic jam right at the end of the session. Hamilton and Russell right at the end of the pack. I don't know if they're going to be able to set a lap time because it's going to be pretty difficult for them. We'll wait and see, though. All right, so Vettel is out on track, which is good to see, and we'll see what can happen there. All right, tell that to my red Fiat 500. Well, your red Fiat 500 can clearly go at 500 miles per hour. I mean, that's why it's called a Fiat 500. So here we go. Kevin Magnussen, then Daniel Ricciardo, then Fernando Alonso. Then we have Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and we've got 10 seconds left of the session, so I don't think everyone's going to be able to set a lap time. Yeah, it's going to be rather unfortunate. I think it's only going to be Magnussen, Ricciardo, and Albon that can set a proper lap time. Vettel now 0 seconds left of the session, and I don't think he crossed the line in time. We'll have to wait and see. But both Hamilton and Russell do not cross the line with enough time left of the session, so they will be just putting it in a nice slow slap because yeah, they're nowhere near actually setting. They were nowhere near the finish line once the session went to 0, so they've missed it, and they're on the checkered flag. The checkered flag has fallen, basically. We have Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo setting their lap times. Most first sectors haven't been that great. I think that's because of the dirty air. Magnussen is following Ricciardo so closely. I mean, Ricciardo's following Magnussen so closely. It's really not helping the downforce that he's generating with his car. And then here we go now. Coming through, we have now Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon coming all through the final corner. We'll see where their lap times go and how they are performing. All right, so we have got now Magnussen crosses the line, stays in 17th position, so not a good job there from Kevin Magnussen. He wasn't feeling well, yesterday, but he is still in 17th place. Been out qualified by Mick Schumacher, I think, for the first time. So that is qualifying over. So the 5 drivers that have been eliminated are Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Seb Vettel, Nicholas Latifi, and Lance Stroll. So there we go. Those drivers are out of Q2. So Q2 will be starting in about 5 minutes or so. Q1 is over. So I'm just going to flip that around. There we go. The Mercedes have made them. The Mercedes didn't actually get the checkered flag, so they just pitted. But nevertheless, Mick Schumacher is into Q2 and has outqualified Kevin Magnussen for the first time this season. So, very nice job there from Mick Schumacher, and he's kind of adapting to the car very well. And then, well, he's picked up the pace and is close to Kevin Magnussen, who we all know is a pretty consistent, pretty quick driver. So, Mick Schumacher being able to match him and go slightly quicker than him in qualifying is definitely a very, very good job indeed. All right, the drivers now just doing their cooldown laps and coming into the pit lane. We've got 1,000 people watching, but only 200 likes. Well, 150 likes. So if you guys haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. It really does help out the channel. Trying to hit 28k or 30k by the end of this stream. I think 29k. Sorry, we are 38 subscribers away. So if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. But let's get back to the commentary now. So we have the drivers that have made it through, who I'm slightly surprised about is, well, actually, I'm not really surprised. I was pretty expected that the Aston Martins and the Williams were going to get knocked out, because their cars have just not been performing well. Aston Martins have a horrible day. 2 crashes in FP3, and then Stroll's car just got fixed by the mechanics, and then Stroll just went out and crashed it again. So it's really not great for the Aston Martin team today. The Williams weren't quick anyway, so it's expected to see them in the bottom 5. And then we have Kevin Magnussen in 17th place, which was rather unexpected. We expected the Hasses to be slightly quicker, but Schumacher was having issues with the rear suspension, and Kevin Magnussen has not been feeling so well. So that explains their lack of performance. Also, there's a very big gap between Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou. Guan Yu Zhou is 7 tenths behind his teammate, in fact, which is a very big gap indeed. And the thing is, well, it's kind of to be expected. Obviously, Guan Yu Zhou is a rookie driver, and this is his first time in Formula 1 and first time at this circuit as well. We know Valtteri Bottas is very experienced. He's actually won a race here. So it's not the best situation for Guan Yu Zhou to be in. He's 7 tenths behind his teammate. So probably should have done a bit more simulator practice, like Yuki Sonoda. In fact, Yuki Sonoda, according to France Tost, was doing a lot of simulator prep for this race, because he hasn't actually raced here before or qualified here. So Yuki Sonoda did all of that prep, and he's only 1.5 tenths behind his teammate. So a very good job there from Yuki Sonoda. All right. So let's see. Q2 will be starting in a matter of minutes now. All of the times have just been offset because we had that red flag. So I don't know exactly when it's going to start, but it should be a minute or two now. So here we go now. Ooh. James, thank you for the subscription. Do appreciate the support. If you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. And if you haven't hit the like button as well, that would be lovely. All right, so 1 a.m. in Canada. Yeah, it's not ideal for many people, but I guess that's just how it is. 8 a.m. in South Africa. Yeah, nearly 8 a.m. here in the UK as well. All right, so let's see. I have a feeling that we're going to see the McLarens turn up their engines slightly for this bit. Well, the engines are obviously fixed, but I think what's going to happen is the McLarens are going to put slightly lower fuel and going to go full send to try and get through into Q3, because they've really been struggling past couple of weeks. They've got improvements, of course. They've had improvements, but it's we'll see if they can actually make it through. They're going to go full send though, because they're not sure how big those improvements have actually been. And hopefully we can see Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo in Q3. All right. Okay, let's see. We have now Q2 beginning in a couple of minutes. Arnold Plays and Glenroy Heath, thank you for the subscription. Yeah. Right. Q2 will be beginning shortly. I'd like to see the cars add a blue and yellow flash on the side pods to show support for Ukraine. Well, Seb Vettel's helmet, usually he has the German colors, the three black, yellow, and red stripes on his helmet. But this weekend round, he's got the Ukrainian flag on his helmet to show his support. Yeah. All right. So we've got a quote from Nicholas Latifi. He has said, "I've just tried to go back." Oh, so this is regarding the crash between Latifi and Stroll, by the way. So Latifi has said, "I tried to go back past to prepare my outlap. He just turned in on me. I saw he aborted his lap, and I wanted to get on with my own preparation lap. It's clear on the video, so not much to say." Yeah, so Latifi is just saying that it is Stroll's fault, basically, and I'm pretty sure it was, so fair enough. Q2 starts in 3 minutes. Thank you, Mustavo. And yeah. Is Sochi even on the calendar? No, Sochi has been removed from the calendar. So yeah, there we go. Obviously because of the entire situation going on in Russia and Ukraine. All right, three minutes till Q2 begins. What are your predictions for pole, actually? So I'm going to create a poll about your predictions for pole. Now that is some quality pun. Right, so predictions for pole position. So I think we're going to put Leclerc and Verstappen, of course, and probably Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. Actually, we'll put Lando Norris just for the lols, because we'll see if anyone actually thinks that's going to happen. I think it's quite unlikely, but actually, no, we'll just put Leclerc. Then we'll have Verstappen, of course. I have a feeling that it's going to be Leclerc, because he just, I don't know, I think the Ferrari car is just slightly quicker, but we'll just have to wait and see in terms of how the pace develops through the qualifying session. All right. I'll be happy if McLaren scored just 1 point. Yeah. I mean, McLaren really haven't been doing so well all season round. So they have had upgrades this weekend, which is obviously good. And the upgrades have worked. Obviously, they're quite high. They're a lot higher up the field. So we'll see if they can just continue that and continue improving for everyone else. Las Vegas in 2023, you're an 8-hour drive from there, hoping to go. Yeah, I mean, has anyone crashed yet? No, Q2 hasn't even started. Oh, Q2, in fact, it has just started. But yeah, Las Vegas, the race seems pretty cool. I don't know how how good the racing's going to be. I mean, the track seems pretty cool. It's going down like the Las Vegas Strip. So yeah, that's pretty epic, I guess. But we'll just have to wait and see how the racing is, really. The atmosphere will probably be very crazy, though, and I think the tickets are also going to be very expensive, but nevertheless, if you enjoy F1, it's definitely worth it. So, all right, so here we go. We have Verstappen, then Hamilton, and Russell and Mick Schumacher all coming out on track now to set their laps in Q2 as early as possible, so they get a banker lap in. And then we'll have all of the rest of then the drivers will start pushing a lot harder for the remainder of their laps. Okay, so Mick Schumacher has come out on a used set of soft tires, so he is deciding. So his first lap is definitely going to be a banker lap, and then his second lap will be a lot quicker because he's going to have a fresh set of softs. But all of the drivers, I think, are out on track now. Yeah, as far as I can tell, every single driver has come out on track. So all 15 of 15 drivers are ready to qualify. Oh, it's Guan Yu Zhou hasn't out on track yet. Once he comes out the pit lane, there'll be 15 drivers out on track ready to qualify and try and get into Q3. All right, so Verstappen is starting his lap. I'm just going to take you through a lap with Max Verstappen. So he's gone through turn number 1. He's activated the DRS, going down into turn number 3. Turn number 3, very big braking zone at the 100-meter mark. Start the braking, turn in and stay all the way to the right because turn number 4 is a left-hander, which is a very important exit that you need to get right. Then through turn 5, holds it flat, and then turn 6, just a little dab of the brake and downshifting into 6th gear and fastest first sector for Max Verstappen. So a very quick lap there indeed. Well, very quick until George Russell has taken the fastest first sector away. So Mercedes look to have turned up the pace slightly. We've got Verstappen with another fastest middle sector, just pretty much just a straight there for the middle sector. He completes it in 17 seconds. I think that's the quickest middle sector out of the entire lot. And now going through into turn number 11, which has now been made even sharper than before. He goes through now into the penultimate corner to now cross the finish. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Who has crashed? It's George Russell. George Russell has had a crash at turn number 11. I suspect he's done exactly what Lance Stroll did. And that... Oh, he's back up now. Okay, so he's had a bit of a spin at turn number 11. So George Russell has a bit of a spin at turn number 11. That's ruined his lap, ruined Hamilton's and Perez's lap as well. Probably Mick Schumacher's and a lot more other drivers as well. So not great indeed. Luckily, the Ferraris aren't compromised too much because they were on a used set of tyres anyway. But George Russell has had a spin at turn number 11, which has compromised all of the drivers behind him because it put out a yellow flag, of course. But we have Verstappen in first place, Perez 3.5 tenths behind him. Then the two Ferraris 4 tenths behind Verstappen. Gasly with a very quick lap, only 6 tenths slower than Max Verstappen. And obviously, Gasly is in the AlphaTauri and Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Ricciardo sets a lap time. He goes quicker than Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, and so does Lando Norris. Now, this is what we're talking about. If the McLarens can challenge the Ferraris, that is very crazy indeed. And Fernando Alonso has just gone up into second place, so maybe this is what the L plan that they were talking about, because, well, he's got the quickest middle sector. The Alpines are an absolute rocket ship through the middle sector, but Fernando Alonso up into second place, only 2 tenths behind Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen's lap was not affected by the yellow flag whatsoever. So well, yeah, a very good job there from Fernando Alonso. We'll wait and see if that goes through into Q3. But I have a feeling that the Red Bulls have a little bit more pace up their sleeve, whereas the Alpines have probably run out of pace by the end of Q2. We've got nearly 1,700 people watching. If you guys haven't hit the like button or subscribed, please be sure to do so. And I think we're a couple subscribers away. I think it's 30 or so subscribers away from 29k. So... yeah, we're 4 subscribers away from 29k, in fact. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. And yeah, we can hit 29k, which would be lovely. All right. So yeah, Chies has just been in the TV shot. Well, that'll be pretty cool on the building that you're on. I mean, it's a very nice view that you have of the entire track from a rooftop. So yeah, very lucky. All right, so we have now Sergio Perez going for his second lap on those tires. He's gone for a double cooldown lap and then his or a single no, a double cooldown lap as far as I can tell, and then he is set a fastest first sector now, just going through the middle sector. We'll see how he does. George Russell has also come out on track as well on a U set of tires. We'll see if he can set another lap time without spinning this time round. Yeah, 2 green sectors for George Russell, so he will be probably putting himself up pretty close to Hamilton. All right, so we have now got Verstappen, who's improved his first sector time, slightly slower in the middle sector, and his third sector was also slightly slower. So he does not improve on his lap time. Hamilton now coming across the line. He's starting a flying lap. And then we have Sergio Perez, who puts himself up ahead of Max Verstappen. 0.3 quicker than Max Verstappen, in fact. And I think this is track evolution. Because... Yeah, no, this is definitely track evolution, because the lap times have now dropped back into the 118s. So, yeah, that's exactly what we were expecting, because we were expecting lap times around about the 118s. Verstappen's lap time was in the 1 minute 19s. Oh no, 1 minute 18. Sorry, wait. Yeah, Verstappen's lap times was in the 1 minute 18s as well. So track evolution, Checo's doing a good job, but I think track evolution is on his side. Yeah. All right, 7 minutes remaining of this session, and we have got now how many drivers? 6 drivers out on track, 7 drivers. Oh no, we've got 8. All right. Mick needs to get into the top 10. Well, Mick Schumacher, currently not out on track, is in 13th place. And I think the only reason he's in 13th place is because Sonoda and Guan Yu Zhou haven't set a lap yet. The reason those 2 drivers haven't come out yet is rather unknown to me. It seems like their car's working fine. They might just be going for a single lap rather than 2. But I don't see any particular reason of why you'd want to do that. So... rather odd strategy call there from AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo. Yeah, so just a quick update on what happened to George Russell. He just dipped a wheel onto the grass when he was turning into the corner. So instead of trying to actually make the corner, because he was basically on the grass when he started braking and turning, which isn't what you want to be doing on an F1 car. He just went straight down the escape road and just did a quick handbrake turn and then went on his merry way. So, yeah, George Russell just started braking on the grass, and that is why he flipped around. Well, that's why we had a yellow flag right at the start of the session. All right. Mick Schumacher, is now out on track. He's on a fresh set of soft tyres with 5 minutes left of this session. It looks like he's going for a lap, and I think it'll be his one and only lap of the session. We'll wait and see, though. We've got team radio from Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. So let's see how this... we'll play Max Verstappen's first and then Lewis Hamilton's. All right.
Wait, was he on the lap?
Hamilton was on a lap, yeah.
I think Hamilton got a bit blocked by Max Verstappen, so let's listen to Hamilton's perspective.
Something with the Red Bull.
Copy, complete the lap.
I had a problem with the Red Bull was in the way.
Yeah, Max Verstappen didn't know that Lewis Hamilton was on a flying lap and had a slight... Well, he blocked him slightly. So, rather unfortunate that for Max Verstappen. Yeah, so that's not looking good for Max Verstappen there, but we'll wait and see how it turns out. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too serious because Hamilton can still go set another lap time, but yeah, there might be a bit of drama. that some people create. Yeah, Netflix is definitely going to make a lot of drama out of this. They're going to be like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton having so much rivalry, when clearly they just when Verstappen wasn't told over the radio that Verstappen was on a flying lap. All right, so let's watch Mick Schumacher's lap. He's coming through the middle sector now. His first sector was a personal best. Second sector is also a personal best. Going through turn number 9 and 10, very smooth on the steering wheel, and a nice job there. Activating the DRS for the third time around the lap. Going to turn number 11, the newly resurfaced corner, which is a lot wider and a lot sharper to aid overtaking. Nice job. Nicely hit the apex there and on the next corner as well. Coming into the final hairpin of the lap, and the second to last corner as well. The final corner, in fact, has been widened as well. So Mick Schumacher passes very close to the pit lane entry, and then coming through to the finish line now, he puts in a lap of a 1 minute 20.5, which puts him into 13th place. Not a particularly quick lap there from Mick Schumacher, but I think it might just be the Haas car, because Kevin Magnussen's also down in 17th place. Yeah. All right. We have got 3 minutes left of this session. Let's see which drivers are out on track. We've got both Ferraris out on track, both Alfa Romeos, both Mercedes as well, alongside both AlphaTauris and just Mick Schumacher. So it looks like the Red Bulls, the McLarens and the Alpines are playing it safe. Otherwise, they'll be planning to come out the pit lane very, very soon, because yeah, they need to get that checkered flag before the session times run out. The timings, yeah. So the timings, how it works is the time that it says on the right is their previous lap time, not their best lap time. So if I'm just gonna put the best lap up there, so that's the best lap up on the fourth column of the data. So that's why that's the timings of like the actual best laps of the drivers, and then the time on the right hand side is the lap time that they set on their previous lap. So there you go. Right, yeah, so all of the drivers have now come out on track to set their final laps of Q2. Also, guys, we have, I think, 2,400 people watching. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button or like the stream, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. And I also am streaming for the race tomorrow in, well, yeah, the race tomorrow in Australia. So be sure to tune into that. Yeah. All right. So we have Bottas leading the pack, and we have Mick Schumacher right at the end of it. I think he will be... No, Mick Schumacher's going for another lap. He's doing, I think, a double cooldown or something. And then he'll be going for another lap as well. Ben Chin, thank you for the subscription. Yeah. Checo has significantly improved in terms of last year's qualifying. Yeah. Sergio Perez has been doing a very good job getting very close to Max Verstappen, and in fact last weekend beating him. So yeah, Sergio Perez doing a very good job. And look at this traffic jam. I mean, wow. So we've got Bottas, then Ocon, then Verstappen, and then we've got Gasly, Alonso, Sainz, Norris, Guan Yu Zhou, Yuki Sonoda, Charles Leclerc, all stuck in the final 4 corners of the track. We've hit 29k subscribers, so thank you for all of the support, guys. Hopefully we can, well, my target today was for 30k, but I think quite a lot of the F1 fans are asleep, or just not awake yet. Well, yeah, that means they're asleep. Anyway, yeah, they're asleep because this race is a rather odd period. Well, there's qualifying, but I think everyone's going to wake up for the race tomorrow, which will be lovely to see. But back to racing now. We have, let's look through everyone's laps. So Bottas improves in the middle sector, does not improve in the first sector though. Let's see what Esteban Ocon does. He also does not improve in the first sector. Lots of drivers struggling to improve in the first sector. Rather odd there. Track Evolution should be increasing the lap time, well, decreasing the lap times. But yeah, both not many drivers actually improving in the first sector, so rather strange there. And also in the middle sector, Sainz is set a purple middle sector, so is Verstappen, Ricciardo, Ocon and Bottas have improved in the middle sector, but not any of the other drivers. And I think that's mainly just been caused by the traffic jam. that was caused by the end of sector number 3. So yeah, it's not great really. But yeah, all right. So the lap times have been set. Sergio Perez is still on pole. Carlos Sainz gets in front of his teammate and improves to only 1/10 of a second behind Sergio Perez. But Perez still the fastest driver out of the 2 Red Bulls, and Max Verstappen yet to improve on his lap. So that is it for Q2. In fact, no, we've got 3 drivers left across the line: Hamilton, Mick Schumacher, and Leclerc. So Hamilton now crosses the line, puts himself up into 8th place. Mick Schumacher goes into the pit lane, and Charles Leclerc does not improve. So that is it. Q2 is over, and the drivers that have been eliminated are Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Sonoda, and Guan Yu Zhou. So the Mercedes power units have bounced back. We have now got a 2 Red Bull, 2 Ferrari, 2 Mercedes, 2 McLaren, and 2 Alpine top 10 in Q3. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know where I was going to go with that, but we've got both drivers from each team getting through into Q3. Yeah, very interesting indeed. The Ferrari engines have not been the best. So the thing is, the past 2 races we've had are night races, of course. And although there are hot night races, once you're in like a desert country and you get to the nighttime period, the air gets very, very cold. So I have a feeling that maybe what was happening was in Bahrain and in Saudi Arabia, the Ferraris had like cold air to cool the engine, whereas in Australia it's pretty hot, and that means that they have, well, the air's hotter, so their engine is slightly overheating, and that's why they've had to turn it down a bit. And also going down the straights, the Red Bulls are doing 320 kilometers an hour, and the Ferraris are doing 310. So yeah, the Ferrari engine not doing so well in these hotter Australian conditions. But we'll see if they just turn up the battery or something to compensate for the fact that they can't run the engine so quickly. And yeah, we could see maybe Verstappen get pole. Maybe we could see Perez get pole. I mean, Perez is still quicker than Verstappen by 0.3 of a second. He did. Checo could get a second pole. We'll just have to wait and see. Sonoda has an off-road moment. Okay, so yeah, Sonoda in 13th place. That's probably why. Yeah. No Q3 appearance for Haas. In fact, yeah, this is what I'm saying. So because we had 2 night races, we had the Alfa Romeos and the Haas's, both of them, up in like Q3 because they were so quick. And I think that's because of the Ferrari engine. So like the Ferrari engine might have just got a little bit slower over the course of, because of the fact that it's warmer air. So the Alfa Romeos and the Haas's have dropped in performance, and so have the Ferraris. But we didn't know that because of the first 2 races of the season were obviously night races. So yeah, very interesting. We'll see if that continues into the race. But if the Red Bulls do have a 10 km/h top speed advantage compared to the Ferraris, with the help of DRS, I think overtaking is going to be a breeze for Max Verstappen. Q3 is going to start in I think 2 or 3 minutes now. Guan Yu Zhou hasn't given it his all. Yeah, he was 0.8 off his teammate, and I think he must have made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, it looks like in the first sector, he had a bit of, his second sector time and third sector time were pretty much the same as Valtteri Bottas, but his first sector, he was half a second off, so it looks like he made a bit of a mistake going into turn number 1. Kat Grayson, Lim Chung Wai, Ilham Fauzan, and Alex J, thank you for the subscription. Do appreciate all of your support. Yeah, everyone that subscribed, very much do appreciate it. And if you're wondering why your name hasn't popped up at the bottom right, is because your account has to be like public or something for it to pop up. So that's, if you have subscribed and it hasn't come up, that's why. But still, thank you for subscribing. When is Q3? In 2 or 3 minutes now. that's when Q3 will begin. All right. Do I watch any football at all? I mean, I've watched a couple of football matches, but no, I'm not particularly interested in football. No. DRS if not allowed in the Grand Prix. DRS is definitely allowed. Oh, basically what happened was we were initially planned to have 4 DRS zones. But because of safety concerns, the FIA removed the 4th DRS zone because it was basically like a long left-hander, and then they also had DRS activated, and the teams weren't sure if they were going to have enough downforce to actually go through the left-hander without spinning out with DRS activated, so they decided to disable the what's it called, the DRS. They removed the 4th DRS zone. Yeah. You're seeing Manchester United at both their games in Melbourne in July. Wow. Is FP3 done? Yeah, FP3 is definitely done. Q3 is about to begin. Do I like F1? I think I like F1, yeah. I'm not too sure, but I'd say I do like F1, yeah. Right. Back to quali though. I have a feeling that it's going to be the 2 Red Bulls at the top, then the 2 Ferraris, then the 2 McLarens, then the 2 Alpines, and then the 2 Mercedes. I don't know. Actually, no, I don't think we'll have the 2 Alpines. I think we'll have Fernando Alonso out-qualify Esteban Ocon by quite a bit. But yeah, let me know what your predictions are in the comments, in the chat, sorry. And yeah. Who's my favorite team? My favorite team is Aston Martin because Vettel drives for Aston Martin, but Aston Martin really aren't doing so well. So yeah. You have a question, are there any crashes going on? Well, Latifi and Stroll did have a crash in Q1, so that is why they yeah, Latifi and Stroll had a crash in Q1, so we had a red flag there, but other than that, it's been pretty good. All right, Q3 will be starting in a couple of minutes now. So P1 Verstappen, P2 Sainz, P3 Leclerc. Well, that's definitely on the cards because Leclerc has been pretty close to Sainz this weekend round, because Sainz usually, well, in the past 2 races has been slightly behind Leclerc in terms of qualifying and race pace. But this weekend Sainz has picked up the pace a bit and is now qualifying closer and actually sometimes faster than Leclerc. So we'll see if he can continue that in Q3 and potentially out-qualify his teammate for the first race of this, well, for the first time in this season. Right, so Q3 has begun, 11 minutes and 30 seconds left of the session, of Q3 till we find out who is on pole position. And then we have Verstappen, Perez, Sainz. Oh, we have all the 2 Red Bulls. Well, all of the drivers are coming out now right at the start. Since when have I been an F1 fan? Since 2018 Spa. That was the first race that I watched. Spa in 2018, where Seb Vettel took the lead, and then also got the race win. That was my first F1 race that I watched. So yeah, pretty cool. But here we are in 2022, 4 years later in Australia for the 3rd race of the season. We have Verstappen, who will be starting the flying laps. Also, we'll see if Track Evolution is going to get any more any stronger. We'll see what can happen there. Because if Track Evolution gets stronger, then we could see lap times potentially in the 1:17s. And yeah. Are you feeling sleepy? Well, I usually don't commentate this early in the morning, but yeah. I'm not sleepy, but I've just never commentated this early in the morning. But back to quali, we've got Verstappen now going through the first sector. A very quick first sector indeed. Purple from Max Verstappen. Quickest, well, he's gone 0.3 quicker than most of the other drivers. We'll see what Perez can do as he goes through. No, Perez, in fact, 2/10 slower than Verstappen going through the first sector. So Verstappen doing a very good job that indeed, and quickest middle sector as well. Pretty close to the Alpine's quickest middle sector as well. So Red Bull and Alpine pretty quick through the middle sector, which is great to see. Then we've got now Verstappen now coming through sector number 3 now. He's got Lando Norris potentially as traffic. Is Norris going to get out of the way, or is he going to give Verstappen a tow, which will be very beneficial to Verstappen, in fact. We'll see how that plays out for him. And there's quite a bit of a traffic jam right at the back there between Leclerc, Ocon, Sainz, and Russell. So all of those drivers are going for double warm-up laps. That's because of the fact that they feel like they can't warm up their tires enough in one lap alone. So they're deciding to do 2 laps to warm them up. And then they're going to go for a proper quick lap. So we've got Perez once again out-qualifying Max Verstappen by 1 millisecond. Oh my God, that is so close. Verstappen is, 1 millisecond. Perez really has improved in his qualifying pace since Saudi Arabia. That was mainly his biggest downfall. He had good race pace, but he qualified so low down he couldn't really do much. And now here is Sergio Perez 1 millisecond ahead of Max Verstappen. Solid job there. Daniel Ricciardo sets a solid lap time as well, going 6/10 behind Sergio Perez. So the McLaren upgrades have definitely worked. And now we have the Ferraris going for their fast laps, and so is George Russell and Lewis Hamilton as well. All right, so Hamilton with a personal best first sector, going quicker than Ocon and Ricciardo in the first sector, slightly slower in the middle sector, but we'll wait and see how where that puts him in the pecking order. All right, we've got 3,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, please be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, like the stream as well. That would be absolutely amazing. If you did 500 likes, that would be pretty cool. All right. So Hamilton now coming out of the final corner where he has activated DRS, shifted up into 8th gear, approaching speeds of 300 kilometers an hour. He crosses the line and goes into 6th position. 8/10 slower than Sergio Perez. So the McLarens have now leapfrogged the Mercedes. So as far as I can tell, the McLarens were down in maybe 3rd slowest car of the entire grid, and now here they are 3rd fastest car of the entire grid, and that was after one set of upgrades. Okay, looks like we got a red flag. Who has crashed? It is Fernando Alonso by the looks of it. Right, let's put the red flag out. How long is this going to take to clean up? But we have Fernando Alonso out. He has retired. He has the issue. Red flag because of Fernando Alonso. He's binned it. So that's at turn number 11. I think he must have done what Lance Stroll did. Lance Stroll just outbroke himself going into turn number 11 and then went straight into the barrier. So Alonso's binned it. Yo, Kies, can you tell us what Alonso has done? Did he just drive straight into the barrier? Because I'm pretty sure that you've seen it because you are in Australia right now. But yeah, we'll get an update from what's happening there. Ricciardo's up into P4 though. So that chance for Ricciardo getting a podium is very, very, very good indeed. Fernando Alonso has bottled it, I guess. L plan is really not working. And yeah, he had the fastest middle sector as well, but just could not put it together. He went off onto the gravel. All right, so yeah, exactly what Lance Stroll did really. He just went too hot into the corner and then went all over the curb and the curb doesn't have that much grip. So because of the curb not having enough grip, he just went onto the gravel, and then the gravel just goes straight into the barrier. So there we go. Rather unfortunate there for Fernando Alonso, but we have now got 7 minutes of qualifying left, with 9 drivers left. I was going to say Fernando Alonso is going to out-qualify Esteban Ocon. This is not the case now because Fernando Alonso has binned it. But Oh, in fact, I didn't even notice, but Charles Leclerc, during the red flag period, because Alonso was behind him, Leclerc didn't get affected by that, and Leclerc went and set a faster lap time than Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. So, yeah, what a lap from Charles Leclerc. I mean, it really slipped on the radar because we were paying attention to Alonso's crash, but we've got Charles Leclerc up in first place. So the battle between the Red Bulls and Ferraris gets even closer. And I mean, the race tomorrow is going to be so good. We've got 3 DRS zones, 3 pretty big DRS zones. The track has been widened, so we're going to have so much overtaking. I cannot wait. So you guys be sure to tune in to my stream tomorrow. I will be streaming from half an hour before the race starts. Well, and then obviously the entire race as well. So yeah, be sure to tune into that. Which driver do you think is going to get pole? Well, it's pretty close between Leclerc, Perez, and Verstappen, but I have a feeling that Verstappen's going to pull a lap out of the bag, like he did in Saudi Arabia. Of course, not bin it on the final corner, but yeah, I think Verstappen's going to pull out a special lap this weekend and put himself up into pole position. Well, let's see what do you guys think. You have 49% of you voting for Charles Leclerc to get pole position. 32% of you think Verstappen's going to do it. 14% think Perez, and 5% think Sainz. Well, we'll see. Sainz is down in 8th place because his lap got ruined by the fact that Fernando Alonso crashed into the barrier. But other than that, yeah. All right, so there's a fair bit of repairing. All right, so yeah, fair bit of repairing for Alonso's car. So don't think they will be able to get him out for the rest of the session. But he did get the fastest second sector. That's what I've been saying. The Alpines are just an absolute rocket ship going down the straights. And sector 2 is pretty much just one long straight. So Fernando Alonso definitely doing a very good job indeed. All right. We've got nearly 3,500 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for all of the support. Why the red flag? Because Fernando Alonso has crashed. Since we've got a red flag conditions, I'm just going to plug my Instagram and Twitter. It's F1_gamer_5. So be sure to go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, whichever one you do use. I just post memes and random stuff. So, yeah, go ahead and follow me. Oh, and the other thing is that there are links to F1 merch in the description. So any team, there's discounts as well on that. So if you do want to check that out, then go ahead. The link is in the description. Yeah. Oh, and also if you're in the UK, I think there's a discount code for like free shipping or something. So I'm just going to check what that is. But yeah, Mick Schumacher crashed on the last race. What pole is Mick? What Mick is in 15th place, so rather unfortunate there for Mick Schumacher. I mean, the Haas car really hasn't been doing so well. Yeah, so there is a discount code on if you are in the UK and you want free shipping and you buy stuff more than £39, there is a discount code F1FS39. So yeah, if you are going to go buy anything from the link in the description, then go ahead and use that discount code. All right, when will it start? Well, it depends on how quickly they can fix, how quickly they can get Fernando Alonso's car onto the back of a truck and clear up all of the debris. So, yeah, I don't really know. All right. Is everyone going to be on softs? Yeah, as far as I can tell. No, I don't think there'll be any point going on to the mediums in Q3. So everyone will be on the soft tyres, which was great to see. Track evolution is insane. Yeah, we had 1 minute 19s, and I think, yeah, if track evolution does get any more stronger, then we will probably see Leclerc or Verstappen probably dip into the 1 minute 17s, which will be pretty crazy considering the track. This track was, I think, in the 1 minute 21s or 20. Yeah, it was 21s or 24s. I can't remember because it was a long time ago. But yeah. All right. So let's see. We need Lewis up front with a race start for Max of real racing to start. Well, I think Leclerc and Verstappen have done enough real racing in their F1 careers, especially in 2019. We had a lot of battles. Verstappen and Leclerc in Austria, in Silverstone. Lots of good racing there. Why is it taking so long? Because Fernando Alonso binned it. There's no red flag, and there's I think the screen freezing is definitely on your guys' end because YouTube is saying everything is fine. So my internet's pretty good this morning. So you might want to turn the quality down if it is constantly like buffering or whatever. What's the weather in Australia? Well, Kies could probably give us a news report, but I think it's 30 degrees or so, and it's pretty hot. Yeah. Who do I think is going to win tomorrow? Well, I can't predict who's going to win tomorrow if I don't know who's going to get pole position today. Also, another thing to point out, Lewis Hamilton has got six pole positions at the Australian Grand Prix, but he's only won one race, I think. Six pole positions in a row, and he's only won one of those 6 races. So just because you got pole position at this race does not mean you're going to actually win it, especially because of the fact there's going to be so much overtaking. Yeah. It's warm right now, not too bad. It's going to stay dry, and the sunset looks gorgeous. Well, if the sunset looks gorgeous, the temperatures will be dropping pretty soon, and then we'll see. Well, that will help the performance of the tires because obviously there'll be less overheating. They're going to be using soft tires for the rest of the lap. All right. So let's see when the session's going to restart. I'll try and find out. So yeah, we have no idea actually because the FA haven't said anything. But when the session does restart, we will have 7 minutes of qualifying left. So that will probably mean we get 2 or 3 full laps of racing. Oh no, not racing, qualifying. Yeah, we'll get 2 laps of qualifying. So the drivers could do maybe a warm-up lap and then a warm-up lap, a flying lap, and then come in for the pit for a fresh set of tires, and then a warm-up lap and another flying lap till the end of the session. All right. Yeah, the team that manages the tires. Yeah, Christian Horner said that it's a pretty close window that the drivers have to like get within for them to for the tires to operate pretty like in a good way. So yeah, the restart's at 7. Okay, so restart in 3 minutes. So yeah, races restart. Well, not restarting. Quali is restarting in 3 minutes. Why is there a red flag? Because Fernando Alonso crashed into the barrier at turn number 11. All right, let's see now. Leclerc is in P1, yes, but obviously we've got 6 minutes left of the session, 7 minutes left of the session, and then we will have all right. Are they doing sprint races this season? Yes, they are. I think they're doing sprint races in, I think it's Spa, Monza, and Brazil. So yeah, 3 sprint races once again, but this time they're increasing the amount of points a sprint race can give. So instead of it just being the top 3 that get points, it's going to be the top 8 that gets points in a sprint race. So that'll be interesting, and I don't know if they should do that really because the racing's pretty good, so I don't think we really need sprint races. But we'll just wait and see. The sessions will resume in 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so session resuming at 8:25 or whatever, 25 or 55, depending on wherever you are in the world, depending on your time zones. But yeah, something 25 or something 55 is when the session restarts. Yeah. Would Ferrari be on pole by 3/10 of a second? Ferrari's best car at the moment. Well, the Ferrari looks to be pretty quick through the corners, but the problem is that they're not quick down the straights. I mean, we'll look at the top speed data. Let's see. Yeah, so the top speed data, the Red Bulls are going 322 kilometers an hour down the straights. And the Ferraris are going 313. So that's around about, well, that's 9 kilometers an hour difference going down the straights for the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. So it's going to be a bit of a stretch for them to actually get pole position because that 9 kilometer per hour difference is pretty big. Fernando Alonso has crashed. So that is why we have a red flag. I'm just going to put the best lap times up. There we go. All right, guys. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. So yeah, thank you for all of the support as well. We're 800 subscribers away from hitting 30k, which will be very, very cool. So if you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. And I'm also streaming for the race tomorrow. We have a green flag conditions. All right, so green flag is out. But yeah, I'm streaming for the race tomorrow as well, so be sure to tune into that. I will be commentating for the entire thing, and of course do the full race build up as well. So here we go. Hamilton and Russell are the two drivers out on track. No one else has yet to come out. And we will be seeing some proper good racing, well, proper good qualifying now. The drivers will be pushing to the absolute ragged edge of their cars and the amount of grip those Pirelli tires can give. But here we are now. Hamilton in 7th place, George Russell in 9th place. George Russell had a bit of a spin. Oh, not a spin. He started braking on the grass, so he had a bit of an excursion, off-track excursion in, I think it was Q2. But now he's made it through, so looks to be performing pretty well. And we'll see if he can out-qualify Lewis Hamilton. He's been very, very close in the past couple of weeks. We'll see, though, if he can actually post a faster lap time. All right, so let's see now. We have got Sergio Perez is also out on track as well. We'll wait and see. Okay, we have a sprinter, Imola, Red Bull Ring, and Interlagos. Thank you, Anna A, for the information. Yeah, do appreciate it. All right, so Hamilton and George Russell, are they going for a double warm-up lap, or are they going for just 2 fast laps? I mean, they're a bit close if they're going for a fast lap, because George Russell will get a lot of dirty air from Lewis Hamilton, so I don't think they're going to be going for push laps right now. Probably just 2 warm-up laps to try and get those tyres into the optimal window, so then they can go maximum attack for the final bit of Q3. We've got Sergio Perez also coming out, well, who's also out on track. We'll see what he can do. But yeah, time is ticking. 4 minutes and 25 seconds left of the session. All right. I mean, Hamilton is technically not towing his teammate because they're on slow laps, but yeah. I think George Russell's going to drop back a bit because any sort of dirty air, it really does hinder your performance in qualifying. So not ideal. We also have Leclerc out on track. We'll see if Perez is going on a fast lap or not. It'll be interesting to see because there's kind of been a split strategy in the grid here. Some teams have been going for double warm-up laps, and then some teams have just been going for single warm-up laps and just go right to the end. And so we'll see which one's quicker. So it looks like Red Bull are going for the single warm-up lap. And Sergio Perez, quickest, personal best first sector, personal best middle sector as well. And now Hamilton and Russell are also going to be starting their flying laps. So Leclerc is the only driver out on track who is not on a hot lap. But Perez now coming through turn number 11, I think it is. Yeah, turn number 11. He is now, hits the apex very, very nicely and then goes out back to the edge of the track. Turn number 13, I think it is. Yeah, they changed all the corner numbers, so I'm really forgetting all the corner numbers. But he's out the final corner now, with not a personal best third sector, but he is 1 millisecond behind Charles Leclerc. 1 millisecond. The gap between the Ferraris and the Red Bulls is so close. I mean, the qualifying and the simulations predicted it would be 10 milliseconds. And those simulations coming out to be pretty accurate here. Leclerc and Perez 1 millisecond apart. Absolutely out of this world. So here we go now. We'll see what Hamilton and Russell can do. Both of them have set personal best first and second sectors. Russell looks to be slightly quicker in both first and second sectors. We'll see how he performs in the third sector compared to his teammate. And yeah, all right. So here we go then. Hamilton now crosses the line, puts himself up into 6th place. George Russell crosses the line up into 4th place. The gap between 4th and 6th, though, very close. I mean, 4th and 8th place, the gap is 1/10 of a second. So the midfield is very tight indeed. But the McLarens have put themselves up. And yeah, you think Perez is going to be on a pole with a 1 minute 17.8. Well, Chies is watching the race live in Australia, so we'll see if that happens. The drivers are still around about the 1 minute 18s though in their lap times. Now we've got 1 minute 30 seconds left of the session. Max Verstappen starting his final flying lap. So is Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez will probably be doing a double lap. We'll see what he does, if he comes into the pits or if he doesn't. We have now Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, all who have got their tyres warmed up and ready to go for the final bits of Q3 here today in Australia. All right. So this is it. Sergio Perez is now out. Oh, no, not out. I think he's doing a second flying lap, which is on a U set of tyres. We'll see how that performs if the track evolution goes in his favour. But here we go now. Verstappen is not improving. Very strange from Max Verstappen. Track evolution seems to have stopped, in fact, because neither Verstappen or Sainz is improving on their fast laps. Leclerc, though, fastest first sector from Charles Leclerc. Well, clearly someone is improving. It's just not the Red Bulls. So Leclerc doing a solid job there in the first sector. We'll see if he can carry that pace through the rest of the lap. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, in fact, doesn't improve in the first or second sector, but he goes so much quicker in the third sector that he pips Leclerc by 1/10 of a second. So Leclerc now, Verstappen's on provisional pole. Leclerc coming through into the third sector. We'll see what he can do. We have Sergio Perez as well, who didn't do so well in the first or second sectors. Let's see if he can bring it back in the third sector, like his teammate. Coming across the line now is Sergio Perez. He does not improve on his lap time. He was on a U set of tyres, so fair enough. Lando Norris is now in 4th place. What a lap from Lando Norris. McLaren have really bounced back. Charles Leclerc is on pole position, 0.3 of a second ahead of Max Verstappen. What a lap from Charles Leclerc. Daniel Ricciardo sets another lap time as well and stays in 6th position. Esteban Ocon is in 8th, and then we have the two Mercedes now coming through on their final laps, and this is it. The final two Mercedes. Hamilton has a streak of 6 pole positions in Australia. Don't think he's going to keep that streak this weekend round. George Russell improves, still stays in 5th position. Hamilton improves and beats George Russell by half a tenth. Sorry. And this is the final pecking order. We have Leclerc, then Verstappen, then Perez, and then Norris. And yeah, Chies, you were right. They did dip down into 1:17s. Absolutely crazy lap time there from Charles Leclerc. Wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. That lap from Charles Leclerc, very special indeed. We know Charles Leclerc is very good under pressure, but what a lap that he just did there. 0.3 quicker than Max Verstappen. And Carlos Sainz, where is he? Down in 9th place. A really bad qualifying for Carlos Sainz. I think he had to abort a lap because he made a mistake, and that put him all the way down in 9th. So Leclerc up in 1st, and Carlos Sainz down in 9th. So it is advantage Red Bull in terms of the strategy, but McLaren have done an amazing job bouncing back. Leclerc set a great lap, and the Mercedes power unit can't. Well, the Mercedes and the McLarens are back, and it looks like the hotter temperatures of Australia have helped them out. So a solid job there. We've got 4,000 people watching. I just want to let you know, guys, that I am streaming for tomorrow's race, so be sure to tune into that because this battle up at the front between Leclerc and Verstappen is going to get so exciting and so close. I cannot wait. So definitely be sure to tune into that. What happened to Carlos Sainz? I think he made a mistake on one of his sectors. I can't tell which sector it is, but yeah, he definitely made a mistake on his lap somewhere, and then he was 1.5 seconds off. So rather unfortunate there. All right, so that has been qualifying today in Australia. Yeah, what a stream it has been. I mean, what a qualifying session it has been as well. Yeah, we had 2 crashes, Vettel and Stroll, not Vettel and Stroll, Latifi and Stroll crashing into each other, and then we have Fernando Alonso binning it, so 2 red flags, and we also had Charles Leclerc set an absolutely sensational lap, going into the 1:17s, to get that pole position. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much for all of the support. If you haven't hit the like button or subscribed, please be sure to do so. And what I'm going to do now is end the stream, and what it'll do, it will send you to tomorrow's stream, and just make sure to press the reminder button, because it'll send you a reminder. So if your alarm doesn't go off or you don't stay up, then you'll get a little notification to say to wake up and watch the race, really. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a very exciting Australian Grand Prix. Yeah, have a nice day, morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.